just like that decided, yeah, I'm going to start an alcohol-free drinks company?
Yeah, I didn't even know what I was going to make because I'm not particularly well placed to make it. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink soft drinks. I don't really hang around bars and restaurants. When I did drink, I didn't drink pretty. I drank to get absolutely shit-faced. So what am I going to make? I didn't even know what it was going to be, you know.
So how did you start?
Well, I did as I do everything. I sat up in bed. I got my paper and my pad, I like a list, and my phone, and I started Googling, you know, what do people drink who aren't alcoholic, and things like that. And I just kind of started at the beginning. I thought, well, what do I want this to be? What do I want the end product to be? Not all the steps in the middle that I don't know how to do, just what do I want it to be at the end? And actually, the first iteration, I came up with this kind of idea of kind of a kombucha type. I wanted something that was ubiquitous, that could be anywhere, that was an anytime drink, that you'd just take like in a 4-pack to a barbecue or something like that. I kind of had that in my head. Then I realised I don't particularly like kombucha. And then I found out if you leave it to ferment long enough, it goes alcoholic and all these other things. And I thought, I'm not going to make that. And I went and I spoke to a tech company, like a food tech company who make drinks. And we had a bit of a go at making something, but it was the wrong side of cold herbal tea. I mean, it was awful. And I think because I've got that real clarity of truth, I often feel like I'm the kid in the Emperor's New Clothes, that fairy tale, the one shouting naked. I'm not going to pretend it's okay if it isn't. I don't really have that. So I thought, well, that's rubbish. Then I went and spoke to a brander who charged an absolute fortune to give me something that was rubbish. I thought, that's all rubbish, isn't it? And I was all a bit disheartened and sad. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go back to therapy. I'll open a new clinic. That's what I'll do. And then my father took sick, very sick, actually. He died. And I decided I would go down south. I didn't want to be that person you read about on the front page of the tabloids. It's like, you know, old man dies in sea of newspapers, old hoarder. And we all read the title and think, where were the family? I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to go either, I'll be honest. But I went. And I was gone on and off for about 6 months during the period of him kind of worsening and then going into a care home and then dying. And then clearing the house, which is therapeutically the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Yeah, I didn't think I'd do it myself. I thought I'd send a team in, but actually I went in and I did it. Took a long time, but I took everything out, completely renovated the house, which I knew how to do, having had done mine, and sold it to a nice new family who I really hope are having a nice life in there. And that was amazing, really amazing. Came back home and then we had a pandemic. We were all locked down. That was a lot. So it was me, Andy, the girls, the dogs, all looking at each other like, wow, this is a bit close. And then the girls went back to school and they wanted to go on board. So my girls, they board. The school is like in the same postcode I live. And Andy sort of built his business, but went back to sort of running his business again and all of that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have one more go at this. How hard can it be? And what was interesting is in those intervening years, the sector had grown. Because when I started, there wasn't a no-low sector. So one of the things I was hearing a lot from people, well, what even is it? Where's it going to sit in the supermarket? How's it going to be served? And I couldn't answer because I didn't know. And in those intervening years, this sector had grown up. And there was a lot of AF beers and wines and spirits and ciders and mead and all sorts of things. And there's like everything from 0% to 3%, de-alkalized, never had alcohol in it. All sorts of things. And then it just became a matter of choice. And so I had a look at what was available. Didn't want to drink beers and wines and things. I don't really want that calorie load, as we've seen from my choice of biscuits. I didn't want particularly wines necessarily. It's a bit too close to my drinking profile. And with the spirits, I just wanted something that was fun, that shouted fun. Everything else just felt a little bit like the absence of joy, you know. Yeah. So I wanted fun. And for me, that's always going to be Wham, Club Tropicana, Malibu. You know, just that. And weirdly, it's never a reality I actually had. That was never my reality with alcohol. You know, it was always a mess, me and everyone around me. But I had that image from like the 80s and, you know, and I just wanted to create that. And I wanted it to be not bad for me, not massively sugary, nothing artificial, but fun and beautiful, really, really beautiful.